a little more frequently. We have some big news, right? You've kind of joined the fold with us, and we're going to do some more regular awesome content with Austin and the ASFX group. You go ahead and share a little bit for our audience who don't know, and maybe fill your audience in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Very exciting news. I've never done this before, like I told you. I've been creating content for my personal brand since 2015 on YouTube. Those videos are unlisted, but still on my first YouTube channel. So I've grinded for many years to try to gain attention, build a following. I've never sold myself out to do flexing with cars, flexing with watches, flexing light. I've always just provided value. And I think that's part of why it's been a slower crawl for me than some of these other guys that come out of nowhere and pop. But what it did, and this is why I appreciate you guys, is it built a really loyal following. People that have followed me for 4 or 5 years when I was working even for the firm in New York that I used to work for, they still follow me now because they felt like they could relate to me. So now when it comes time to actually doing a sponsorship, and I always knew this, it would be like a heavy one. I felt like it would be something where my audience is almost like in anticipation of who is going to be the first thing that Austin kind of sponsors and gets, as promotion for the show and everything. So for us to do that with you guys, I think it's just a no-brainer. Not just because your company is doing things the right way, but because like a firm like you guys itself, like the funding company, it just makes sense to provide that to my audience since I know so many people are trying to get funded. So now you guys are the official sponsor of the Day Trading Show, the podcast. We're doing some Instagram and Twitter stuff as well, which is awesome, just to spread the word and get you guys known to my audience, gets them a little discount code as well. So it's a win-win. And I think all of the feedback, like I told you even before we started the recording, all the feedback has been positive. And I think that just speaks volumes.
Great. Good to hear. Well, I'm sure it's going to be a little more positive now with the further relaxed rules. I know you mentioned yesterday you saw we went to 8 on the max trailing drawdown, so we're 8-6 now, 8-5, excuse me. So we've got very, very considerable rules for traders. And
what made that change? I'm sure people want to know, Corey. Tell us, why did you guys make that
of course,
adjustment?
of course. So really, when we look at the landscape, what do traders want? What are they asking for? And that's we're always looking to accommodate the trading community, and that has been one that's been we had it back in January, and then we reverted back to more standardized rules, and the people who were diehard Surge fans, they stuck with us. But a lot of folks said, "Hey, you know what? I'm not that tight of a trader. I cannot keep it that tight. We need a little bit more room." And so we went back to the drawing board. We got with our risk management team and leadership, and we've decided to bring the absolute best single phase audition offering in the prop marketplace. So we're excited to offer it, and so far the feedback has just been tremendous. I mean, the phone won't stop ringing right now. So it's a good time over at Surge.
That's awesome.
Yep. So let me ask you this, because I know we've chatted before. You and I, we've done some shows before, but for the people who don't know, tell a little bit about your journey. Where did you start? How did you come up in trading?
Sure. The short story, I guess, that I like to try to explain is I started trading when I was in college. I was just trying to figure out a different way of making money. I was running and working for a DJ private event business where I was working on the weekends, and I had a lot of free time during the week. Now, I was still in college at the time. I ended up eventually leaving college and leaving the DJ business to work for this firm on Wall Street. I worked for them providing courses, live trading room, the whole thing with them. And then we split.
You were living in the Northeast?
I'm from New Jersey originally. So okay. I was working remote in Philadelphia, and then I would travel up to New York probably like once a month or twice a month, and I would work in the office or do whatever meetings we had to do and whatever. But it was all remote. Everything was remote. And they still are in existence, and all of their prop traders now are remote. When I was going up there, it was in this transition period where they were renting out the office space they had because everybody's remote,
Yeah.
So that was like
when you think traditional prop firm, you think, a bunch of guys sitting in an office in New York with licenses and, in a big, tall building. So prop has really changed. It's come a long way.
100%. And then from there, it was 2019. My wife, she really kicked me in the ass, and she was like, "Hey, we could do this on our own, and this could be our business." She said, like, I've always been entrepreneurial, but she was the one that really helped me take the leap there. And that's when we started our ASFX business. My trading was going pretty well at the time, and it just took off. Selling courses. We did our first seminar like 3 or 4 months into that business. So like the business just blew up. And now since then we've done I think 11 seminars since 2019, a big one in London last year. We've sold courses to over 25 or 2,600 traders. So we've now kind of made a name for ourselves in the education space as like Like I
Excellent.
said, no flashiness, no fluff, just real strategies that are back tested with data that people can plug into. We're not promising a holy grail. I never would, I always say this. I want to, under promise and over deliver always.
Sure.
I don't want people to come in thinking, I finally found the strategy that's going to make me no, you might have. We need to plug you in and get it still working for you. Like, Corey, you and me could sit down. We could be in the same damn trade, bro. And if I don't manage that trade properly because my psychology isn't experienced enough or I'm not well versed enough to handle it, you could make money and I might lose money. So
Absolutely.
trading is much
Absolutely.
more than just strategy. But for us now, it's like we provide that strategy. We're at least getting people to that point. We're getting people over that hurdle of like the technical analysis, the entry signal. Then we can start to piece together, well, what do you do well within this strategy? What do you do well that maybe, or what do you do that's costing you money within this strategy? We should get rid of that and focus on what are you doing well? What can we kind of dive deeper on? So I think that's a lot of what trading is like you want to get the underlying strategy. That's what our business is based on. And then you got to niche it down. You got to figure out what are you doing really well and what are you doing that hurts you. And that's like now what I'm in love with doing, bro. I do almost all day, every day. I'm just coaching traders on coaching calls with people from all over the world. I've got a guy in Curacao right now near Aruba. I've got a guy in Poland, like all over the world in this group that we work with. And it's just very rewarding to see people go from like inconsistent to consistent just through a couple of small tweaks that truthfully they come to on their own. A lot of the time, the traders that I work with, and this is good advice for anybody listening, they track all of their trades. It's part of the program that we put people through, and you and I have talked about that a lot. Journaling, tracking everything. You get to see your truest self if you track honestly, which most people just aren't honest with themselves. If you do that, you're going to see what to do less of. You're going to then do less of it and lose less money. We're now making more money just by cutting out losses. You don't have to add wins. You don't have to add size. You don't have to add strategy. Just cut out losses. Cut out what hurts you. So that's where now like the business has grown into is now like a lot of coaching, a lot of mentoring. And we do one seminar a year right now. I host free meetups all over the place. I've got one in South Africa in July. My guy is running. James is going to lead that.
Nice.
Tom is doing one June 10th. You met Tom. Tom is doing one June 10th in Birmingham in the UK. And then those are just free. Like come have a beer, hang out with us, get to meet other local traders, just spread the influence. And then we do this big seminar in London in December where you buy tickets. It's a full day of trading, strategy, group work. It's intense. So that's now awesome. Like the lay of the land of the business.
Very cool. Very cool. And so give me the quick elevator pitch of what is ASFX. I know you gave a long pitch, but what's the mission of the company?
Easy. To build self-sufficient and consistently profitable traders. I don't want people to have a crutch on me. I don't want them to even have a crutch on, anyone, of course, but even on a strategy. I want traders to be brought up through good technical analysis because I think that's a staple. You need to understand how to do proper technical analysis. From there, it's all psychology. It's all money management. It's all how are you going to keep yourself on what we call your A game. You don't want to be a C game performer. You got to perform at your A game. So a lot of it is building traders into self-sufficient and consistently profitable by helping them stay on their A game.
Right. Absolutely. That's
mentally.
Awesome. And guys, just so you know, anybody who's watching live, you guys can ask questions in the chat. We're live streaming on YouTube right now, so go ahead and ask questions for Austin if you have any. We're going to jump to the charts in a couple minutes. Austin, any comments on today's employment numbers?
Bro, it drives me nuts. Because, and I appreciate you asking that because the part when we do these live streams and I tell my story, I'm like, I think people are tired of hearing that. I'm like, they want to know, what am I seeing now? I think people only trust you're as good as your last idea.
Right. Of
to
course.
me, these numbers, bro, are very hard to read. I don't come on ever and want to come like I'm a guru. I know what we're looking at, especially when you have jobs being added, but unemployment also going up. It's a mixed bag.
Mixed numbers. Exactly.
Plus, the Fed is saying now we're going to raise rates in June. Nobody was anticipating that. So now so much uncertainty is in the market right now. And I think one of the things that I'm doing well in my own trading, put the coaching and everything aside, I'm just staying adaptive. I had a great May. I know a lot of traders I see on Twitter and stuff had a great May. I only had 6 trades. That's it. But I won all 6 of them. So I think as I'm adapting and seeing that there's uncertainty and moving away from uncertainty, it's really making a big difference for me. So I don't try to know it all. I think too many guys sit here and they're like, all right, unemployment's doing this, the employment rate's doing this, and the NFP, Fed rate's doing this. I'm going to do that. They get caught up in all this cocktail talk. As Brian Shannon, the anchored VWAP guy, he calls it, it's cocktail talk. If it's uncertain, get away from it and find something that you can be more certain in and play there. Just play on that field. So I think that's what's been.
That's a great point. Now, is this something you had to learn? Because overtrading is a huge problem for young traders.
Oh my God. Oh my God, bro. Of course, you know the answer to that. Of course, of course. I mean, even some of the psychological things that I see now in markets, like one of the things we'll talk about today is this little bull trap that I was looking at on Bitcoin. Just being the guy that was a part of the bull trap, getting trapped
Sure.
long and then getting
Sure.
stopped enough. You touch that stove enough, you start to think, what else is going on here? Like, what am I missing? And I think that's the psychology of it. That's understanding why do markets move the way they move sometimes. Not all the time. You're not going to be right all the time, but trying to understand that then helps control the over trading, because then you start to think a little bit more critically about your trading. And there's guys, I had a guy on my podcast yesterday. His name is Garth. He's from South Africa. He trades in the UK. He's been trading almost as long as I've been alive. A lot of experience. And still, what he does is he has his laptop and stuff over here to do his videos and his stuff. And over there is a trading desk, and that's where he has to place his trade. So he actually has to walk across the room, and that's like his tripwire to make sure
Make it
he's sure you
difficult.
want to trade this.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So even 25
cool.
years of trading, still he does that.
Some physical barriers between him and the go button.
Exactly.
So now in your course are you guys focused on minimizing trades as well? I know, there's a lot of different schools of thought when it comes to trading schools and education. Some are very heavy into trading, a lot of opportunities, taking many trades. Some, like yours or like your strategy, is going to be only take a few. So how does the school stack up when it comes to that?
I think it goes well with the whole wave of traders wanting to get funded. My school of thought of like, I want to be selective. I'm not here to trade all day, every day, high frequency, call every top, move every bottom. It's not my job. I'm looking for repeatable signals that I feel are working right now. And I'm looking to honestly be in the market as little as possible. That's always been my mindset. I think part of the reason I feel that way, and this is translated into the course and in the way I teach, it's because I was brought up trading. Like, I really got into trading when Trump was president. And what would happen when Trump was president, bro? A tweet would send the market this way.
Sure.
It was very, if he just said China trade war, the market would react funny. So it taught me, like, being in the market leaves you susceptible to losing more money sometimes than actually making it. So I, as a day trader, not a swing trader, don't want to get caught up in like long-term fundamental bias or long-term trades. I'm looking for a short, quick bag where I'm making consistent money and then I'm off living my life. I want to make money from trading. I don't really want to be a trader. I don't even see myself as a trader. And I think new traders listening to this should really try to understand a really good trader is a pattern identifying person that can plug into a system. That's what we are. We're not trading anything except time. You're only trading time because you're choosing to sit here at the desk. That's how I feel. So if we're only really trading my time, okay, well, I just want to be here and make as much money as possible in the smallest amount of time. Yeah, of course, in the beginning, you got to give hours to learning and all of that. But at this point, 7-8 years into my journey, I want to be here for an hour or two a day. I want to be in and out of my trade. I want the profit bagged or the loss bagged. I want to be as risk-free or as little risk in the market as possible. So I think that's like my underlying belief system, and that comes through in the course. And that's like why we teach the way we teach, with selectivity being the focus.
Got it. Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the mature take. Too many young traders or new traders get caught up on the trading itself, where the goal is money. We're here to make money. We're here to make a profit and then move on and of course preserve capital. So that's going to be a huge one. And that all comes down. My belief is to having a strategy, having a plan, following that strategy, having the mental component side of it, doing what it takes in your daily routine to get there. Tell us a little bit about your daily routine.
It's pretty solid. Like I built a routine. Scott Redler was one of the guys I worked with when I worked in New York City. He was like a mentor to me. He was like an older guy. I got to watch him trade. Like, it was very, very helpful. And one of the things he taught me that stuck with me was you have to really love your routine. If you don't love it, you will not be able to repeat it. You will fall off the horse. So now I'm in a position where I'm very lucky my wife does not have to work. So her and I get to wake up whenever we want. I get to wake up next to her. She really loves that. So that's the first thing. I think like starting my day in a positive way, not being woken up with an alarm clock and rushed out of my house and like into traffic. That is like the worst way for a human being to live their life. I know some people have to do it and that sucks. I just am grateful that I've shifted away from that. I used to have to do it. I've not always been privileged. So now I choose to start the day like that. No alarm, wake up when I want, normally around 5, 6. Like today I slept until 7 because we were up late last night. Then I don't do I try to meditate. I don't do the typical, like, I meditate every morning and do my breath work. No, bro. Sometimes I don't do that. I have DMs to answer. I have stuff to do. Like, I just go into work. You know what I'm saying? Like a regular dude. But I do try to do 50 push-ups every morning. I like to just do it to get blood pumping into my brain. I think I make better decisions that way. And there's science in that. There's research that proves that. Walking, push-ups, something to get the blood pumping. It helps. So that's it. Then I go right into trading. Most mornings I hop in with the Black Shirt Club, the mentorship group we've been talking about, and we just start pretty much right away. I might sit on the balcony. You see me take some pictures out there, have a coffee out there first. But I'm normally trading by 7 a.m. We're rocking. I trade from 7 to 11. Normally at 11. Here I'm on your stream today, but normally 11, 11:30. I'm getting my gym bag ready, doing all that. I go to my 12 o'clock workout every day. 12 to 1, I'm in the gym. 1 to 2 is home. Normally eating the first meal, take the smoothie down, get a quick shower, and then 2 to 5 is either coaching calls or podcasts every day. If I have an off day there, I'm at the pool, but most days, because I like to keep myself busy, I'm doing the podcast. Now, occasionally, a Tuesday, I'll be out on the boat. You'll just see me, the one day you hit me up, I was out. I try to get away and go out when everybody else is working so I can enjoy my rest and enjoy my peace, And then by 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, most days, I try to be done. Now, I have coaching students that are in Hawaii right now. It's going to be a little tough to try to end at 5 o'clock sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We make adjustments.
Yeah.
They're paying good money for my time, so I will make adjustments as needed. But normally I'm not working past 7 o'clock. And I'm
are these one-on-ones, these calls?
Yes. So like our group coaching program, it's trading together as a small group, 15 people every day. And then we do individually, they get 1 hour to 90 minutes each week with the coach to review their entire week, get feedback on all their trades, review their daily report cards, all of that stuff. So it is group and individual coaching. That's why it works really well.
Nice. And then how much do you give the students? It sounds like you have a highly regimented daily routine. How much do you teach them or talk about? Is that important to you? Do you find that something that's going to help them? Do you bring that into training?
Great question, because I just have been onboarding a new coach. His name is Evan. And after every call, I'll get on with Evan for a minute. I'll be like, hey, what'd you think of the call? Did you listen to the way I asked the questions? Did you listen to why I asked when I did? Blah, blah, blah. And then I've been saying to him recently, I say, Evan, have you ever thought that you would get into this coaching business and we would talk to grown-ass men about their bedtime and their diet? And that's really what ends up happening. Oftentimes, we had a guy, just a quick story. I had a guy named Dom. I give Dom credit. He should get the shout out. He passed a funding challenge last week in the program. And he decided, for some silly reason, after working with us for a month and really niching down on his strategy, he decided that when he started the challenge, he was also going to do a juice cleanse and not eat food and fast every day. So then at the end of that first week, where he took no trades and he sounded awful on the call, because he knows I care about him, because we've built a personal connection, I straight up said to him, I'm like, bro, what is wrong? Like, are you sick? Like, what is going on? He's like, no, bro, I'm just not feeling full energy. And then I said, I'm like, Dom, you're not eating meat. You normally eat meat. We should stop doing two hard things at once, the challenge and this juice cleanse, and just eat meat. 2 weeks after he stopped that, like the week after, where he started eating normal again, and then the following week, it took him those 2 weeks and he finished the whole challenge, both, like everything. So I think it is very funny to me, because I didn't get into this business thinking that's the direction I would have to coach some of these traders, but it is. Those habits and those routines make such a difference, because like I said in the beginning about the elevator pitch, I want to teach people how to be on their A game, not their B game or their C game. But we have to first identify what puts you in your A game and what throws you out of it to your C game. What does that look like? So habits and routines make such an impact in your performance, and I think that'll translate into P&L. So I look at these guys that pay good money to be in the coaching program. They pay a lot of money for their challenge. Like, they invest into this business heavily. I tell them, take yourself seriously. Talk to yourself like you're Kobe Bryant. This is not a hobby. This is a sport. And if you are not taking it seriously, someone else is. You're going to get smoked. When you get smoked, don't ask me why. You're not going to sleep on a regular schedule. You eat like shit. You're drinking alcohol all the time. You're not putting your body and your mind in the best position to succeed, which then goes to the question, like, Corey, how bad do you want it? You're going to tell me you want it this bad, but you won't go to sleep early. You won't move your schedule around. Okay, then clearly you don't want it that bad. You know what I mean? So yes, we talk a lot with the guys in the coaching program about the habits and the sleep and the diet.
That's what most of them need. The non-tactical stuff where they, habits, routines. That's kind of where guys fall off the wagon for the most part.
It's accountability too.
Right, absolutely. Discipline, accountability.
Absolutely. They can't hold themselves accountable. I try to, bro, because I'm not the best trader. Like, even in our group of coaches, Tom, James, and Evan, I don't have the greatest P&L return this year. I'm up I think like 11% this year between all of the accounts I've been trading. It's a great year. I'm very happy with that.
Sure.
But all three of them, I think Tom is up 12% in May. It was his first double digit month in 3
Good for
years.
him.
Great month. Yeah, very great month. So I'm not the best trader, but I love coaching. I think I am a great coach. I love sports. I love pushing people. I love trying to figure out how to push different people, how to communicate with people in a different way to just get them over that hurdle that unlocks their fullest potential. Because like, I don't want anyone to be me. And I don't think anyone that comes and tries to work with me wants to be me. They want to be the best version of themselves. So it's my job to help them do that. I actually would argue that I enjoy that just as much as I enjoy looking at markets and trading. And that's why the business does well, because I'm passionate about that.
Yeah, that's the whole other side of it. The trading part is one side of it, and then the life coaching aspect to get people where they need to be is also super integral. So that's awesome. It sounds like it's a fully comprehensive program. While we jump off of that, what do you have for me trading wise? Let's pull up some charts. Give me
Swing
give
me
me
over.
give me a sample of what the Black Shirt Club would get on a typical Friday.
Great question. So today was an interesting morning. We talked about the jobs numbers already. Can you see my screen, Corey? Am I good?
Hang on one second. Let's take a look. I do. Producer, are we up? Yes, you're good to go.
Good to go. Cool. So this was the setup I'm watching today. Out of all the things that I look at, I start with Bitcoin and US 500 and NASDAQ every morning. I watch them throughout the day. My wife will see me on my phone. We're watching Yellowstone last night. I got Bitcoin open on the couch next to me because I like to know what's going on. I really do.
So for you, this is your barometer.
Yeah. 100%. I want to know what's the market's doing. Because when people talk about the market, I know some people talk about the Dow. Mm-hmm. I would say most people, when they say the market, they're looking at SPX, US 500, the 500, right? So I look at US 500, and now because of you guys giving great spreads on Bitcoin, not even trying to plug, it's a direct plug, it's accurate. You have great spreads. I can trade that at any time of day over the weekend with you guys. So why would I not be paying attention? And I'll explain why Bitcoin specifically over everything else in a second. The setup here, though, today on Bitcoin is worth talking about. So I have a lot on the screen. We'll just slim it down for a second so you can see.
Yeah, please.
The blue line here is an anchored VWAP. I've been using that. I can plug this book from Brian Shannon. He's a guest coming on the podcast in a few weeks that you guys are sponsoring. Brian's a great guy. Been using the anchored VWAP more. So that's an anchored VWAP from the start of the day right here. The 8 and the 21 are the two EMAs, the yellow and the red. That's the 8 and the 21. And then all I have above here is the anchored VWAP from the high of week. That's all. So anchored VWAP from start of day, anchored VWAP from high of week. The idea that I was looking at this morning was to short Bitcoin out of this zone right above 27,000. This zone from 27,000 is pretty significant, as you can see this week. It was support, then turned into resistance. Sitting at it, I would expect us to potentially come back off of it for a move down. That goes back even into last week here, where it was, like I said, support over on Sunday for a move higher. That support, when broken, becomes resistance, as everybody knows. So that zone sets me up for the idea of, hey, this could be a bull trap. So what's the bull trap? The bull trap is the impulsive move higher overnight, which I have with the flagpole here, in an overall downtrend, which if I flip this chart to the daily, you'll see my daily bias. I have a short idea here on the daily because of the 8 and the 21 being crossed down and us getting this A2 signal short. So higher time frame bias is bearish. That then gives us the opportunity for bull traps because it's a trap against the overall trend. And if you were in a downtrend, it would be the opposite of a bull trap. It'd be a bear trap. If you were in an uptrend, you'd have the bear traps. So here, overall downtrend, it's going to try to trap people long. That's my psychology of what I'm thinking here. So I get these F signals. People are seeing this flag probably and they're like, what is that? That's the A2, one of the strategies. We coded it and built it into an indicator. It's just a break of the 21 EMA, giving you a signal of where's a great buy price if you think this 21 and 8 EMA short-term cross will hold and go higher. So I'm seeing the long signals present this morning here. And I'm thinking to myself, do I like that price for this to come higher? Every time it's bumped into this price above at 27.2, it's come lower. So risk reward to that price kind of sucks, even if you have a tight stop loss. It's just not ready, or at least showing me strength that it's going to leave the high of day it already set. So that's, again, what feeds the idea of a bull trap. You get an impulsive move against the overall trend, a flat top of resistance, and higher lows coming into that. energy kind of building into this coil, into this wedge. It then throws the bull trap during the NFP news event, inducing any last couple of people that I think you could think about it like this. I don't know if this is actually happening, but inducing any amateur traders thinking, oh, we're breaking out long now on NFP, and then it smokes them. Psychologically, because of the downtrend, this thing probably goes lower today, in my opinion. I know that was a long-winded explanation, but I hope that it makes sense because I wish somebody would.
Absolutely does.
Yeah, because to me, this is a pattern I have been long into many, 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 many times, and I don't know why I would lose it. And only in the last 2 years have I really started to look at psychological market patterns like this and try to piece them together. Then you confirm that psychological pattern with a technical higher time frame bias, and I think you can generate good trade ideas like this. So my idea this morning on how to short it, you wait till after NFP, you get the push down again off of that zone, so you have 3 hits to that top. When it retests it here, that's where I would look to try to be short with just a stop at high of day. If it takes out high of day, it's probably going up. Cool. I don't want to be I don't want to be short anymore. But that would be a great price to get short. So that's what I was looking at. Now, one other thing I just want to add on this is why Bitcoin. Bitcoin to me is a great asset, especially for the people listening to this that want to get funded. It has not been moving very much recently, as you can see from this head and shoulders that we were trying to maybe move away from here. Hasn't been moving much. We'll have some big days in here, as you can see, like there's a 3-day span here where it drops 3 days 10%. But what I'm really looking for is like this type of a day, 10, 12, 13% days on Bitcoin, because those are the days where a 0.5% risk position, if I can let that run with a stop loss locked, I can really chunk into a challenge. So part of the reason why I'm always watching Bitcoin, to my first thing I was saying, is thanks to you guys with the weekend holds and the good spreads. If this starts to move on a Saturday or a Sunday, I can actually still get into that now. I don't have to be on the sidelines like I used to. So I need to have my finger on the pulse with Bitcoin, because when the volatility comes, that's what I'm waiting for. I love Bitcoin on its 1% days. It's still good, but like I want the 5%, 6, 7% days. Like if you go back into 2022, when we were just look at from this A2 signal, look at that drop. Unbelievable. Great. 35% in a week. From this A2 signal to short it, 43% in basically 3 trading weeks. That's where I need to be involved. Every day where it's down, I need to be involved in that. So I have to be watching.
Right, of course. Now, Are you receiving signals all the time? Are you running around the clock? Are you looking for those signals to get in? Or are you going to be doing a lot of manual analysis?
It's all manual. It's all manual, but I will use the A2 signal. Like when this closed on Monday. That close on Monday telling me that this is an A2, this is an E signal short, that gets me interested that we might see an opportunity to sell this week. I had a short position on Wednesday on Bitcoin on the 15-minute. I'll show you here. So that short position on Wednesday comes from the higher time frame signal. So I'll see that signal present whenever it is, but I'm not necessarily just going to jump in and take it because it's presenting. I'll look for a lower time frame entry, and it might come a day or two later. So the higher time frame just is keeping my bias or telling me to change my bias. Then I'm using the 15-minute for my daily entries.
Got it. And is that going to be across all of your pairs and all of your assets? That is the
100%.
ASFX
That's the process.
Way. So good.
Yeah. And this was the A2 signal that worked on Wednesday. So you can see it's an E signal. You get an impulsive move, just to the point of like the psychological Bitcoin patterns that we typically see. The flat bottom, the wedge, the consolidation. I love that. And if you, the black shirt guys know, I love it when it consolidates. That's where I'm going to get interested. Fake out in one direction. The E signal tells me this impulsive move up is going to induce people that see the consolidation. Amateurs are coming in here because this is a wedge, and they're buying that, just like that. Well, the A2 tells me to come in and sell it, and I'm selling that there. And I just use a 1618 fib for the stop loss, which I can make it show up just like that. And that's how I know where to put the stop every time.
What are you looking for ours?
1. That's why I love it.
1-to-1?
1-to-1. 60% win rate in the back testing on this. I have an 87% win rate in the last year trading this strategy. So I'm winning almost 9 out of 10 times when I pick an A2 and I go 1R. When I hold them longer, I tend to take, I tend to not have as high of a win rate.
Got it. Awesome. So there you go. Back to journaling. You were able to probably deduce that from looking at the data, seeing what happened when I hold it too long, and making decisions to change your strategy.
100%. Let me show you really quick. This is what we do all of our tracking in. So this is what the daily report card looks like that I fill out every day. As you can see, I'm filling it out right now.
You fill you still to this day you still fill one out for yourself.
Dude, 100%. I think there are some traders who don't need to do it because they've been trading a long time. If I don't do this, I literally don't feel like I feel like I'm gambling. Like this is what keeps me from over trading. This is what I have to plug this in detail because now what we do, you'll fill this daily report card out. This is your pre-trading routine. This is your trade. If you take one, if you take more, there's a drop down here to add more. And then this is your post day, like end of day evaluation. What was your trade of the day? What could you have done to make more money or lose less money? It's a great question for everybody to ask themselves. So for me, I have to do this. This is then at the end of the week, what I do to review and see what am I doing well? I cannot remember what I did on Monday. I can barely remember if I have more than 3 trades, what I traded that week. I just can't. I'm doing too much stuff.
Not only the trades, you can't remember the emotion. You can't remember your physical state. There's so much stuff that goes into it that's totally non-memorable.
Right. So then when I have a weekly report card here that I have to come in and do this weekend, like let's look at last week's. We can see this is last week's weekly report card. Last week I was up 0.66. I track my trading errors. This is an actual number of, hey, did you miss trades? Did you get out too soon? Did you overtrade? How much did you actually cost yourself this week? Not, oh, I made mistakes, I'm going to do better. Put a number to it. Because when you start to see how much money you actually cost yourself, whether it's through misses or mistakes, it gets a lot easier to fix those mistakes. There's an actual number that's going to eat at you. Yeah,
Dollars.
100%. 100%. But then the habits too. We get the habit scores at the bottom here. So like if I perform well, like I would say 0.66 for me based on my risk, that's a really good week. You could see my habit score was a B and my on the charts habits was a C. So an average week, not bad, but still could be better. There were still habits that I should have done that I did not do. So I think that's like the reason why is like people who don't want to journal like this, I think they don't want more growth. I want more growth. I'm doing what I've never had this much money to trade with. I'm doing great. I want more. Like I'm still very much not seeing myself at the top of the mountain. So I still feel like this is necessary. If I was making $1 million a month, I would not do it.
Sure, of course. Different ballgame.
Yeah.
How do you help folks who have difficulties with self-awareness? So, a lot of guys are going to come in and they're, you rated your discipline on the charts a C. A lot of guys are going to have a mediocre day and say, it was an A. Yeah, I did great today. I did my best. How do you deal with that? How do you identify that?
You identify it because, like, for example, when I see guys that just have all A's, we start to have a conversation about, like, are you being honest with yourself? And if you are, this isn't hard enough then. There's no way it's actually putting you in the position to be your best self if you only have 3 things here to do every day off the charts and you're telling me all you have to do is wake up on time, read, and talk to your wife and you have a great day. No, there's way more to it than that. So I think you got to challenge yourself to have bigger goals and then be willing to fall short of them, saying, hey, I'm not excellent today, but I'm still doing pretty good. So I think it's like self-awareness comes through time, through being around people who are self-aware. I don't know how you teach someone self-awareness, but I think if you have the right coach, the coach can challenge you. You have to be mean to them. And I don't like to, but you can challenge people when you're like, hey, I know you can be doing more. But you know what's funny? On the other side of it, there are traders who will put all 15 things in here, put 15 things for them to do every day, and they will still fall short and be tough on themselves and be like, God, I should be doing better. I should be doing better. So you'll get both sides of it. You'll get the guys that'll go.
I would imagine those are the ones that really want it.
Yes, always. They want to be almost to a detriment. And then I have to tell them, bro, we can cut this one away. Like we can slim this down. Yeah. Yeah. But I think the biggest thing with this tracker, I would tell anybody if they never want to do anything with me and they hate me and they just want to, take one thing from me that they have to do, take this, track these trading mistakes right there. Those 14 trading mistakes, if you can just start documenting them and then paying attention on the course of a week by week basis, which ones are you repeating? Awareness alone, by tracking it and looking at it, will help you stop making that mistake. Just checking a little box and saying last week, every day I traded too big. Next week, I'm going to try to trade with the right size. Just that little thing. That's step 1. There's a lot more we can do day by day, but just that is what most people are not doing. And if they would do it, they would make less mistakes.
Right, absolutely. That's foundational. Getting down to the crux of your problems. Austin, I know we're coming up on time here. Before we end, I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you analyze market news. What are you looking for in your daily routine? Where are you going for economic calendar? How do you analyze these items? Give us a quick rundown of that.
I like Forex Factory. It's a really good resource. I have it filtered in a specific way. I'll show you. The reason why I have it filtered is because I don't want these low impact news events. So I'll go in here and filter only the medium and high impact events. Now, What's interesting about this, and it's funny we're looking at this today. Let's go back to just yesterday really quick. Yesterday, see this red folder, unemployment claims news? That used to not be red folder. That used to be medium impact, orange folder. But recently, like a couple of months ago, Forex Factory, whoever runs this company, decided to start making that a red folder. So then when I tell my guys, hey, pay attention, we don't want to trade through some of these red folder events, they see red folder, they go, hey, I don't want to trade through it. But I, with experience, know that's not a major news event. We can trade through. That's one of the ones we can trade. It's not FOMC. It's not NFP, not GDP, right? We can go through that. So it's experience matters when you're talking about discerning the news. But as like a standard of like, what can I look at today to tell me what's going on in the world? Forex Factory is, I think, the best one. Simple, easy, high impact is detailed, bank holidays are detailed, and it has a stream that'll pull news from different websites, whitehouse.gov, bls.gov, CNBC, and it'll kind of keep me posted on what's going on. But other than this and CNBC, which I think is a joke half the time because it's all for clicks, that's all I really pay attention to. And Twitter. Twitter is probably the best thing. Like I have a couple of accounts on Twitter that I follow, like disclose.tv, Squawkbox, FX Hedgers. They provide unbiased news. I don't want the CNN or MSNBC or Fox News headline with their opinion on it. I want to know a missile went off. This is where it's going. What's happening? Don't tell me what do you think. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when I look for news, I look for no fluff. Like in my course, I'm just a no fluff, no BS, no opinions, just fact. Tell me the fact, I'll make the opinion. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're looking. So I mean, Twitter is it. I mean, Twitter is the new Bloomberg. That's where everybody's getting their details. So Forex Factory, you're going on there, you're checking out the calendar, you're looking for red folder events, and then you're going to make a decision: where am I trading for these? Am I not trading for these? So now you kind of have your frame as to what you are or what you're not trading, and then what happens? You go to the charts. You're going to mark some charts.
Good question. So like today, I wake up at 6, 7 o'clock, and then we see there's red folder news at 8:30, and we know NFP is a big news event. I'll look for trades for an hour from like 6 to 7. If we don't find anything by 7:30, an hour going into news, I'm waiting. I'm just going to chill, see how the news plays out. Once the news is done, I will come and look for trades. And that'll set up for some ideas. Like we had an idea I can show you on SPX this morning. Let me just go like this. So if you look at like here on my live stream on ASFX TV this morning, SPX is moving higher. On the 5-minute, we get an idea. The idea is valid, I think, here at 8:55 a.m. on this A signal. This is an A2. There's the indicator. That's a valid idea because it's after the 8:30 news. You can see. And even more, there's another signal right there for buys. And that one would, your stop loss there from here to here, stop loss on this one. So you're in at 42.47. The A2 tells you stop at 42.34. So we're looking at how many points is that? About 13 points on the stop. And it moves 30 right now. It's up 30 points. So that's, I think, where you can come in, use the news to say, all right, I'm going to wait till after when all the amateurs are done doing their thing.
Get some direction, get all the noise out.
Exactly. And if news would have come lower and taken this thing away, cool. We're not going to be looking for these clean longs. But then, even after this win at 8:55, breaks for a new high of day, it's clearly still moving up. So you could definitely justify getting in on this type of a pullback. And notice with the A2 strategy, and this is something we could talk about maybe on next week or another week, I'm buying after 15 minutes of drop. When everyone is thinking about sell, the A2 comes in and tells me to buy, and it gets me the best buy price. To be at the best price, you have to do what the 90% are not doing. And that means buying when they are selling, just like that. That's the beauty of the A2. It's not an easy strategy for some traders to plug into because it's counter what you'd want to do, which is trade momentum. But when you start to do it and practice it and do as many markups as I do, you get confident in it, and then you run a real back test on it. You know it actually works. You really start to understand psychologically what's going on. Like I said, with the bull traps, the wedges, all of these things, the psychology of the market matters. When everyone is selling, you want to maybe consider buying if we're in a strong uptrend like today.
Right, absolutely. Would you say you typically have more of a long bias than a short bias? Or are you going to go either way?
For indices, yeah, because where do indices trend majority of the time?
Right, of course. Yep.
Up. When the daily 8 and 21 EMAs crossed up in March, I sent out the tweet right here. March 29th. I think I tweeted it on March 30th. The 8 and 21 on the daily have crossed up. Any strong bearish bias, kill it. I'm not saying we might not drop. Great. If it drops and it crosses back down, we'll get short again. But that is when we should stop with any crazy shorts. Right there. That was your last chance. Since then, what has it done? If you just would have went long on that cross up, you're up 6% on S&P. So in less than 2 months. So to me, I think just that simple cross will tell me, all right, time to be bullish or time to be bearish. Right now is not the time to be bearish. Are 7 stocks holding up the S&P? Yes. Are interest rates going up? Yes. Could all of that lead to a push lower? Yes. When the 8 and 21 EMAs fall over, I'll look to then be short. I won't be shorting this now.
That's what we've talked about on this program previously with some other guests. Is we have to look at price action above all else. Everybody's screaming from the rooftops. Everything's on fire. It's going down, down, down. But price action tells us that there's a lot more room to be had on the upside here. Can you take us through really quickly your analysis on a couple other ones? What else do you look for? Are you looking at gold, looking at oil?
I hate gold. I've never been able to trade gold well. We have a daily sell signal on gold right now, which would tell me if we're looking for just another leg down on gold, we're probably going back to 1920. So like for people that would want to see, okay, well, what do we do? Your stop is 2015, and then you're looking for some type of a move for 1R from that entry price of 1980. 1980 for 1R would take me to 1930. So I could see gold into next week, maybe a little bit lower on that daily time frame. Silver looks very similar, another signal there. So commodities have pulled back this week, but that sets us up for potentially another leg down with the EMAs being short-term bearish. So I think commodities there, at least the two metals, a little bit more bearish. Oil, I think it's a funny asset to trade. I love looking at the daily chart because like when I was looking to trade more oil, it was right here as we started to get big bars and get volatility because of the invasion. And then since the invasion, it's kind of gone back to its typical oil self, which is in my opinion heavily influenced by the Saudi and the OPEC stuff. So oil's a very tough one for me as well. But on the Forex side of things, I mean, Euro USD has made a really nice leg down so far through May. That means the dollar index has gained strength. If we flip, you can see it's a direct inverse, right? The dollar looks like it has more upside potential. You have a strong bottom here at 100, basically, I would call it 101-ish. Strong bottom at 101. I think you could see 106, 107, no problem. That would be the next area I'd be looking at, like 105.70, 106. That's where it looks like it wants to move up to. Not in a straight line, of course. None of these ideas are straight line, of course. ECAD is another one we've been looking at this week. As you can see, all of May, big sell-off for May. 2% for a Forex pair is a lot, in a month. So this is something we've been looking at. We had some guys short this morning right here off of this A signal. So this is one of my favorite trades when I would trade Forex. This is the kind of stuff that I would like to trade. You have a sentiment line down here under 50. It's at a 40 today. That 40 value on sentiment says sellers are in control. You're breaking out for new lows of week. You're breaking out under yesterday's low. So each day we're making a new low and we're breaking out underneath it. Today on a Friday, he gets his sell signal right off of that zone. About an hour and a half of straight profit. And again, what is he doing? And when I say he, it's Evan. He's one of the coaches in the group. He had this trade. Pulls back, 45 minutes of rise. Everyone's thinking, maybe it's going to bounce today. Maybe we've sold off all week and we're going to finally bounce. He comes in and he's selling it, and it's instant profit. That's the beauty of the A2. Could have been short even from up here at 6:30 this morning on that signal, and you would have made money. So that's kind of what I'm looking at.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Awesome. Well, Austin, I know you have to run. I do want to thank you generously for coming on with us and chatting with us and helping us through some of your charts. And we are super excited to have you on as a regular contributor. And we look forward to seeing you soon and hearing more analysis.
Anytime, Corey. Have a great Friday. Thanks, everybody. Good to connect with you. I'll see you soon.
Thanks so much.